The week 3 schedule is absolutely loaded with great games, and we're about to break down the best of them. This is Hot Takes and Game Breaks with your boy Matthew Nepper and Taylor Druckenmiller, my arch rival. How's it going, Taylor?
How's it going, man? It's going good. Yeah, we got a loaded slate this week, man. Lot of really good games, and yeah, I'm looking forward to breaking them down.
Heck yeah, we're going to be giving our picks, doing our preview. Last week, we did some picks and preview, and your boy Matt went 4-3. Your boy Taylor went 2-5. Whew. A little bit of a cold streak, Taylor. A little bit of a cold streak.
Yeah, two of those games. SMU should have won that game, and Iowa State some bums for not covering 3.5 against a team that can't even throw the freaking forward pass. But it's all right. We got a long season, and we'll we'll
Longs.
we'll inch by inch we'll make our way back to the top.
Yeah, I'm sure we're going to differ with a few of these picks, and we'll see how that goes. And when I say we have a loaded schedule, there are some sneaky good games that maybe a lot of people during the preseason did not expect to be do or die games. When I say do or die, I'm talking about the Clemson Tigers, who narrowly avoided the Trojans this past weekend. Now they come to Georgia Tech country, where they're going to play, presumably, Haynes King. He didn't play last week, but he should play this week. Whew. Clemson's favored by 3.5. How do you see this game playing out, Taylor?
Clemson. Clemson will bounce back this week. I truly believe that. No, Georgia Tech's main source of offense is running the ball, and I feel like Clemson's D line and they got two veteran linebackers. I think they're gonna be able to slow that down a little bit and come up with big stops. And Antonio Williams, hopefully he makes his true debut this week. He got hurt in the first quarter of that LSU game didn't play last week, and now he's back. So hopefully Antonio Williams can make an impact this week, and if not, we need Cade Klubnik to come through for us. But yeah, give me Clemson with all the points, all the points.
Yeah, this is one of those games where I feel like in my head, I'm envisioning it right now, how it plays out. You got Georgia Tech, who is a little bit under the radar, who during the preseason didn't get many accolades, who right now has the better resume. Sure, the sample size is small, the data points are minuscule, but what has Clemson done to earn themselves to be the favorites on the road at Georgia Tech? I mean, last year, they weren't great. Georgia Tech, they beat Miami. I believe they almost beat Georgia. Scrappy, tough team, especially in Atlanta. This line, though, I feel like Vegas is trying to bait us. They're like, yeah, yeah, take Georgia Tech. Take Georgia Tech. Come on, do it. They believe that Clemson is probably going to win this game by a lot more than 3.5. But guess what? I'm taking the bait. I'm rolling with the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. I'm a Haynes King believer, and I'm not feeling K Klubnik right now. I'm not feeling the Clemson Tigers. There's something off about them, and this is not the get right spot. Give me Georgia Tech plus 3.5.
Yeah, and then watch Clemson's gonna win this 27-24, and you're gonna come in here winning. It's not fair.
Yeah, I did not say Georgia Tech's going to win. At least I don't think I did, but they are going to cover. And yeah, it probably won't be fair. And another Georgia team, Georgia Tech's arch rival, is playing another orange team from down south. Georgia travels to Tennessee, playing at Neyland at 3:30, where Georgia is a 3.5 point favorite. The same Georgia that looked awful against Austin P. going against Tennessee, who all they do is score touchdowns. How do you see this game playing out?
Yeah, I see this being a really, really good football game. Tennessee's got transfer quarterback Joey Aguilar at quarterback now, and transfer from Appalachian State, I believe. And he looked good in the first couple weeks. I mean, I think they put up like 72 points last week, but I don't even remember who they were playing. It wasn't anybody good. And then week one, they beat Syracuse, but Tennessee's defense didn't play that good in that Syracuse game. And Georgia had an off week last week against Austin P, where I feel like it was a whole bunch of vanilla offense and not really trying to show their hand much. And I think Vegas knows what they're talking about. And this one, I'm going to take the Georgia Bulldogs. I think Joey Aguilar is gonna. He's never seen a defense like Georgia before, and Kirby Smart's a great defensive minded coach, and yeah, I think they're gonna take advantage of that. And I'm gonna go with the Bulldogs here, -3.5.
Tennessee, big game, hosting Georgia. This doesn't feel like a week 3 matchup. This feels like it should be played in November. I feel like these are two rivals. It's a maybe it's a little bit of lopsided rivalry. I believe Georgia has won the last 8 in this series. Are they going to make it 9? I just don't see it. This preseason, I said that Georgia's vibes are off. I said that they're going to miss a playoff. And if they're going to miss the playoff, they got to lose games like this one. It's going to be very much like Bama at Tennessee the last 2 times. Tennessee's going to pull this game off. Tennessee wins. Tennessee covers. Give me Tennessee +3.5. And if they don't win but only lose by 3, I still win. So, hey, what are you going to
This guy.
do? But yeah, that's how I see it going. I feel like Tennessee just has too much offense, and Georgia, they got problems. They got things they got to iron out, and this is not the situation to iron out those problems. So
Yes, sir.
far, so far we're not picking the same teams. Let's see if we do it with this next one. When 4:30 on the CW. Do we even have the CW? I think YouTube TV
Y-
does, maybe.
Yeah, I think I got it. Yeah, that's what SMU and Baylor were playing on last week. So yeah, I think I got it.
What's up with the ACC playing their home games on the CW? I don't get it. But South Florida, off of 2 ranked wins, are going for a third at Miami. Fun fact, the last team to open the season was 3, count them, 1, 2, 3 ranked wins was the Miami Hurricanes back in 1987. And those Hurricanes were pretty good because they won the national title that year. I'm not saying if USF wins this game that they're going to be national title contenders, but national title contenders. But I feel like if they do win this game, y'all better rank them in the top 5. How do you see this game playing out?
Yeah, I mean, if they win this game, they might as well just put them at #1 in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, 17.5. Vegas
Mm-hmm.
is still not respecting this USF ball club, and I don't get it, man. I feel like 17 and a half is a lot of points for a team that I feel like is going to be able to run the football. I mean, Byron Brown's going to be able to run the ball. I mean, if he can do it against Florida, he for sure can do it against Miami. So yeah, I'm going to take the 17 and a half here, and you know, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if Miami blew them out. I really wouldn't. But yeah, I'm gonna take the 17 and a half, play it safe, and I still think Miami's gonna win this game. I do not think USF is gonna win this. But yeah, I'm gonna take the 17 and a half.
Yeah, does USF have the dogs for this game? They have played 2 ranked teams already, blew out Boise State, narrowly defeated the Florida Gators, but that takes a lot. That takes a lot out of you. And when you're a smaller, directional school from Florida, do you have the dogs to compete at Miami? I think they do, but I'm with you. I don't see them winning it, but 17.5 points is a lot. I think USF covers. I think they're still very much the favorites to get that G5 playoff spot. I mean, their schedule after this isn't necessarily that difficult, in my opinion. And I think they've done a lot to earn that spot so far. But Miami wins, USF covers, and USF still looking good for that spot. Now, the team that USF beat is having to go to Baton Rouge, Louisiana to play LSU. The same LSU team that looked a little sluggish last week, 23-7, but at least they won their game where they looked sluggish. LSU is a 7.5 point favorite. Prime time, probably the most raucous environment in college football at night. How's this one play out?
Yeah, this is a big one for Billy Napier in Florida. I mean, they lose this one, and we're gonna be talking about Billy Napier on the hot seat halfway through the season, especially with their schedule they got going forward. But yeah, I mean, LSU Florida, I feel like it's always a good football game, no matter who's at quarterback and how good whatever team is. But man, 7.5. I don't know. I feel like LSU's in the same boat as Georgia last week. They struggled. It looked like they struggled against Louisiana Tech, but maybe they were just resting starters, not playing them as much, getting other guys in the game. And yeah, I mean, I'm gonna lay it with LSU. I'm gonna lay it. I do think it's gonna be a good game, and I mean, just because you're laying the 7.5 doesn't mean they're gonna blow them out or anything. But yeah, I can see this being a good game up until the fourth, and then I could see Garrett Nussmeier taking control of this game and LSU by 10.
I see DJ Lagway putting the Florida Gators on his back. I see him scoring touchdowns. Maybe the LSU scores a lot of touchdowns too. Maybe it's a shootout. Probably is. I have Florida covering. I'm not sure if they can win this, but I have them covering the 7.5. I think that's a pretty wide spread. That in this rivalry, I feel like there's been a lot of close games. Florida can lose by 7 and still cover. I got Florida. I'm not sure. The vibes are still a little off, but they're hungry and they could be fighting for this season. Yep, Florida plus 7.5. A lot of big time SEC games this weekend. Another one we have coming up next is Texas A&M traveling to South Bend, Indiana to take on the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. 7:30 p.m. And Notre Dame is favored by 6.5. The same Notre Dame team that last played week 1 where they faltered at Miami. They're gonna be hungry. What do you think?
Yeah, so did Notre Dame not play last week?
Yeah, they had a
I
bye,
think
a
yeah.
very rare
Uh,
week 2 bye.
Yes, yeah, I don't like that for the Fighting Irish. They're coming off a loss and they had a bye week. I mean, I feel like last week would have been a nice week to schedule a bad opponent and like, get some confidence going for your team and whatnot. And yeah, I think that's gonna play a factor in this game. I think mo both teams are very similar. Texas A&M's quarterback Marcel Reed is, a run first quarterback, and they got great running backs. And I think it's Le'Veon Moss. I think that's their main back. Just like Notre Dame has Carr and Jeremiah Love. So I think both teams are very similar, and I see this being like a dogfight type football game. I do think Notre Dame's gonna come out on top, but I'm gonna take Texas A&M in the 6.5 just because I think it's gonna be limited possessions, and I think yeah, I'm guessing like a 17-13 type football game.
Yeah, I feel like it is gonna be a dogfight. Notre Dame, though, they are fighting for their season. If they lose this game, I know, sure, yeah, they lost a big week 2 matchup last year. I guess big is a operative word. They lost to Northern Illinois. But Can they lose their second game of the season when they have a schedule that is this soft? I just don't see it. I think they know that this is a must-win game, and the crowd is going to be in it. They're going to be humped up. Jeremiah Love is not going to get only a handful of carries. I liked what I saw of Carr last time they played at Miami. Give me Notre Dame. I think they win by at least 10 points. I think it's going to be a fun environment there. That defense is going to come out hungry. My bold prediction of the game, Notre Dame scores a defensive touchdown. I envision it in my head. I just see it. Just see it. I run down the sideline. He scores. Pick six. Crowd goes wild. All right. So Notre Dame, 6.5. Next up, an under the radar SEC showdown. 7:45. South Carolina hosts Vanderbilt. You know, they both have one thing in common. Virginia Tech. One team beat Virginia Tech by 13, the other by 24. One team that beat them by 13 did it neutral site. The team that beat them by 24 did it at Virginia Tech. But somehow, some way, South Carolina is still favored by 5.5. Make it make sense, Taylor. How do you see this game playing out?
Yeah, the spread doesn't really make sense. And for that reason, I'm going to take South Carolina to blow out Vanderbilt in this game. I think Vanderbilt, they had a really good year last year, and they're off to a good start this year. And I feel like this week they're going to get humbled. Night game in South Carolina. South Carolina's defense with Dylan Stewart is insane. Lenore Sellers is insane. He's a lot better than Kyron Jones is, the quarterback they played last week. And yeah, man, I think South Carolina is gonna. I think they're gonna beat the brakes off of Vanderbilt.
Feel like Vegas is begging us to take Vanderbilt, though. Vanderbilt's coming off a 44-20 win. The team that South Carolina only beat by 13 on a neutral site. Vegas is like, come on, take Vanderbilt. Y'all remember what they did to Alabama last year? I ain't falling for it though. I also got South Carolina covering. I think this is gonna be a blowout. I don't think Vanderbilt can do it 2 weeks in a row, and this is gonna be a lot more complete team that they play. Plus, that Virginia Tech game for South Carolina, that was an emotional game. Yeah, South Carolina wins easily. I think we're unanimous on that.
Yeah.
But there's a lot going on this week. These are the big games. There's a couple smaller, appetizing games, like the backyard brawl. West Virginia may not have had a great weekend, losing at Ohio. Not Ohio State. Ohio and Athens, Ohio. The Bobcats. Now they got to play their arch rival. And these teams hate each other. Pitt at West Virginia, and Pitt's favored by nearly a touchdown, 6.5. Whew. Who you liking this one?
Uh, I feel like in any rivalry game, I learned my lesson last week. You take the points in the rivalry games. You take the points. West Virginia lost their star running back last week, and I feel like that's a big reason why they lost that game because they didn't really have an answer after he went out. But yeah, they have a week to prepare for Pitt, and that crowd's going to be rocking, and yeah, I'm gonna take the 6.5.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I feel like every time these teams get together, a lot of wackiness happens. I remember back in 2007 when Pitt ruined West Virginia's national championship aspirations. I believe it was a 13-9 game where Pat McAfee of West Virginia missed a couple possible game-winning field goals. Not good. It's a wacky rivalry. And the 6.5, so it's almost a touchdown. That seems like a widespread for a game where I feel like both teams are pretty evenly matched, and it's at West Virginia. Yeah, give me West Virginia. That crowd is gonna be rocking. They need this. Rich Rodriguez, I believe that was his last game coaching at West Virginia, was when they lost to Pitt. So they do some revenge here for Rich Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Another sneaky, interesting game. Arkansas at Ole Miss. This line seems sort of low. 6.5 Ole Miss favorites. How's this one play out?
I don't think this line's too low. I mean, if I told you Arkansas's quarterback has 10 touchdown passes in 2 weeks, I might change your mind a little bit. Taylor Green, he's a baller for Arkansas. I believe this is his second year now in college football, but yeah, he's a beast. And Ole Miss's quarterback Austin Simmons last week got banged up in that Kentucky game. So yeah, I mean, I think Arkansas can. I think Arkansas can go on the road and beat Lane Kiffin. I feel like Lane Kiffin always loses a couple games a year where it's like, wow, that's a Lane Kiffin type loss, and I think that's what this game is right here. So I'm gonna take Arkansas plus 6.5.
You're selling me. You're selling me on this one. But nah, nah. You're right about the situation. This is a Lane Kiffin, Lane Egg matchup. But maybe Lane Kiffin knows that. Give me Ole Miss. I think they're gonna come prepared. Arkansas, I don't know. I just don't see them pulling off the upset, and I don't see them covering. Ole Miss -6.5. Homecoming. You got a homecoming. Duke at Tulane. And everybody knows where Duke stole their quarterback from. Tulane. How does that game shape up?
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to having this game. This game will make the quad box for sure on Saturday. Yeah, but I mean Tulane, I mean they replaced Darian Mensah with Jack Reitzel, I believe his name is, former quarterback at BYU. Uh Man, and this is a pick 'em type game too. So I don't know. I mean Duke getting throttled last week at home against Illinois definitely isn't ideal coming into a game like this. Darian Mensah definitely didn't look the greatest last week. And man, I know I had Tulane. I had Tulane being my G5 team making the playoff, I believe. I think no, I had Memphis. I had Memphis. But Tulane's right up there. But man, I want to root for Tulane just because Darian Mensah left for $4 million or whatever it was to go to Duke. He deserves to lose this game, so I'm gonna go with Tulane in the green wave.
Yeah, yeah, he probably does deserve to lose this game, but he doesn't. Duke covers, Duke wins. Tulane, those fans are gonna be sad. They're gonna be booing Mensa the whole entire time until he comes off victorious, and then they're gonna be sad, crying. Duke covers easily, easily. But that's it with our picks. There's a couple more notable games, like Central Michigan at Michigan. What are we calling that one, Taylor?
I don't know what you're talking about, dude.
What are we calling
I
that
don't know
one,
what you're
Taylor?
talking. The
Why
Connor
is there?
Stallions Bowl, man. The Connor Stallions Bowl.
And it's kind of ironic that Michigan's gonna be without their head coach during the Connor Stallions Bowl. Why is that, Taylor?
Again, I don't know what you're talking about, dude. I don't know who that guy was on that sideline. He did a really good job of looking like Connor Stallions, but I don't think that was him.
A little bit of plausible deniability, right? Like, yeah, we're not quite sure. We're not positive. No, that's gonna be it's gonna be a whooping too. I feel like Michigan's just gonna take out a lot of anger on Central Michigan. Who's their head coach for Michigan this week?
Biff Poggi.
What a name. What a name. That sounds like a Michigan man name. Biff Poggi. I love it.
Yeah, hopefully he comes out with his cutoff shirts this week, like he wore at Charlotte and then at St. Francis, Pennsylvania, I believe he coached at. Yeah, he
hmm
was known for wearing cutoffs. big dude with a cutoff. Hopefully that's what he comes out with on Saturday.
Do you think Sharon Moore wishes he just took the first 2 weeks off that suspension? I mean, he came out of the Oklahoma game, and you have Dave Portnoy criticizing him. That all could have been avoided if he just was suspended for at Oklahoma, but I digress.
Yeah, I mean, looking in hindsight, I wish he would have just took the first two games off, but
Right. Right.
unfortunately that's not how it works. So
But Michigan, they're playing an in-state opponent, and Ohio State is playing an in-state opponent, playing the Ohio Bobcats. Last time these teams played, Rufus the Bobcat started a brawl against my Brutus Buckeye. It was terrible. One of the most disgusting acts I've ever seen on a football field. And Rufus, we have not forgotten. We will never forget. Buckeyes are going to roll. And Rufus, you're not even, if you even lay a finger on Brutus, Athens is no longer going to be in Ohio. Y'all going to need to change the freaking name of your team. Whew. Okay. But yeah, I think it should be a pleasant game.
yeah, t typical Ohio State fan overreacting to a little scruffle a little bit, but yeah, typical Ohio State fan for you.
Hey,
Can't
that's,
plant a flag, mascot can't fight. Yeah, just a soft program, dude. Soft program.
last week, I felt like the Grambling State band was competing against Ohio State's band more than the Grambling State football program was competing against Ohio State football program. This week, it might be the mascots. Maybe. We'll see. I
Yeah.
wonder if they're gonna do like a playful reenactment of that. I wonder. I mean, that'd be kind of cool. It'd be kind of funny, you know?
Yeah, I mean it's two totally different mascot people now
Yeah,
too. So
yeah,
I'm sure they'll do something.
yeah. They should. I should. Also, kind of a petty Ohio thing. We're kind of petty down here in Ohio. But back
Yeah.
in the late 90s, Ohio U, the Bobcats, tried to trademark the word Ohio. No, it's not like Ohio State would ever try to trademark random words like Ohio or the, you know. No. Then the schools got into a legal battle. But the dispute was settled, and now both teams can use the word Ohio. So while they're competing on the field, they've also competed in the courtroom. Kind of an interesting tidbit. Now you know moment. But Ohio at Ohio State, you got Parker Navarro coming off of a big win over West Virginia, a narrow loss at Rutgers. This line seems pretty big. I believe it was 34 and a half. Now we're not picking this game, but that's gonna be a tough one for Ohio State to cover, in my opinion. We'll see how it goes. I think Ohio's sneaky. Just are they exhausted? Are they gonna be worn out? We'll see. Time will tell.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah. I think they're gonna be worn out, and
Mhm.
Ohio State's gonna roll in this football game, but we'll see.
Yeah, a rare night game in the horseshoe. I feel like we never get night games anymore because Big Noon wants to have every big Ohio State game be at noon. Kind of sacrilegious, in my opinion. But that's a rant for another day. For now, hot takes and game breaks. We're out. Go Buckeyes. Ohio.
Soft program. Go blue.
Later, Taylor. Peace,
See you, dude.
everybody.